Hello and welcome to Chapman's Corner. Today I'm going to take you through my weekend here at Donnington Park, where we're at the GP layout for the final race weekend of the season. And guess what? This weekend was a disaster. I went into the final weekend of the season, P3 in the Clubman Championship, best of the rest, with it all to play for. All I had to do was finish above Adam Walker and Mark Betts, and then that bottom step of the podium would have been mine. Quali was a wet one. A lot of us have never driven in the wet in the F1000, and it definitely showed. I think most drivers took it easy throughout quali, not wanting to damage the car for the afternoon. Just get your 3 laps in and make sure that you're able to start. We all know that there's positions to be made up for in the race. I qualified P11 out of 20, right in the middle. It was a bit of a mixed up grid compared to normal. Championship leader Craig Pollard back in P10 just next to me. A big shout out to James Hills, who managed to qualify P7, higher than he usually does. Clearly a bit of a wet weather specialist. I'm glad it didn't rain more often throughout the season, as we had a lot of good battles on track. The sun eventually came out about an hour before our race on the Saturday, and the track dried up.
And importantly, the man that's leading the championship, number 92, Craig Pollard. 24, Bert Chapman on the inside of row 6, besides to him, number 19, Sam Satchwell.
Quick heads up, I only used rear cam a couple of times in race 1. Unfortunately, it was set to time lapse rather than video. Slight bit of creeping because of the clutch, but very good race start. That's Rob Whelan waving his hands because he had an issue with the car. So we managed to gain a position, but Sam's got an even better start than us. He's on the outside though, so we a little late of braking. Managed to go up the inside, but we're not putting enough lock on there, so we're understeering off, ignoring track limits as it's lap 1. So Sam goes flying by us, and that's even Chris Keir on the outside of us there, so we just keep the throttle pinned. Little lift going over the crest, lap 1, just because the tyres are cold. A bit later on in the lap, we're hanging on to the back of Sam here, getting into the slipstream. Towards the end of the lap, he manages to get past Dave Williams, so we've got a little drag race up to the final turn here. Very close to hitting me there, Dave, but a little later braking, and we just kind of sneak up the inside, but he gets back past us a little later. And now we're following him pretty quickly. We're not going up the inside there, definitely not. Trying to position it so we're getting a better X up the hill. And Dave is just covering all areas of the track here, not really seeing an opportunity to get by. So we're going to try and outbrake him on the left, getting very close to hitting to the back of him. Ignoring track limits, and then that's James Hills going slow. A couple of laps later we managed to get a dive down on the inside into the first hairpin. But then he's going to appear on the right of us again. So this continued for pretty much all of the laps that I was racing in.
That is a bit of bodywork.
You'll be able to see the bodywork here. Fortunately, my line was pretty good. Very close. So a few laps later, lap 6, we're holding on to the back of Dave again here, struggling to get by him, and we just get on the throttle too early. We go off onto the grass, and we're smashing the throttle here. Then when we get back on the tarmac, we're revving the engine up a little bit. Managed to lose 3 positions by going on the grass, which is a real shame because it was running really well. I was definitely going to get Dave at some point. So what happens later on in that lap is the engine explodes. So I'm rolling down the track. Now I actually got spoken to by race control for this. They said I should have gone straight off track, which to be fair I accepted. Yeah, might be leaking oil.
Bert Chapman, who's now out of the race, was in that position. So yeah, we just saw there Bert Chapman out of the race. He's also racing in 116 Trophy this weekend. So he's competing in the fastest cars and the slowest cars on a race weekend, which is quite an unusual thing to do.
Certainly is.
So that's me back on the flatbed. My race was over, up in a cloud of smoke. When we took the engine out, we discovered the issue. There was a massive hole in it.
That's definitely not supposed to be poking through.
My weekend would have been over and 2 races missed if it wasn't thanks to the amazing team at TSR who did an engine change. So thank you Liam, Mark, Chris, Stuart, Matty and of course Mitch.
And of course this beautiful man here, and no, I'm not talking about the world champion Jenson Button, instead Rob Westworth, dad of Tom Westworth, who had a spare engine and allowed me to use it for the Sunday. Obviously if I break it, I buy it.
Ahead of us, and the lights go out, but again it's a slow getaway for Adam Walker, so the train driver no longer at the front. It's David Williams that takes the lead of the race. Sam Satchwell.
I'll include a link in the description to watch this full race from this external footage. It's absolutely brilliant, a lot better to watch than some of the F1, although this season 2024 has been incredible. Hopefully more people that watch on their live stream, the more races I'll actually live stream.
Start the race for him. Higginson also making some progress in the green disc lock. It's still Williams and Clennell who's on the grass and somehow comes out of it in front. Williams' car's on both sides. Clennell was too deep.
And Wellham, and I wonder if there was contact between these two cars because Sam Satchwell.
It's a damaged front left, isn't there?
Yeah, and the front end of a Heitens car doesn't look great either. I think he's lost the nose
there is a bit of a
cone.
gap back. Oh, and there's a car, and it is Adam. That's not Adam Walker, is it? It is the.
So let's watch some of that from my view. I did catch most of it on camera. Cracking start there. So managed to do James Hills there and Mick Firth. Really good start. Got Rob Wellham behind me. He's always going to have a good start. I think he made 8 places in the first lap. So he's going for round the outside. Oh, Keir in front of me. Sorry, very close to getting to the back of him there. So flat down the hill here. This is Lee's first race weekend, so we just pop it down the inside of him. Very good move there. At the beginning of the race, so turning in and soaring at the wheel a bit to try and find the grip. So carrying the pace, trying to get down James Clennell here and the other 3 there. If I didn't redline the engine, maybe I would have done something a bit better there. Don't tell Rob Westworth that I redlined the engine. 2 cars there spinning, that's Sam Satchwell and Chaz Heighton.
Sam had brake failure unfortunately, he failed to brake.
And then from quite far back, little lunge. And get the move done. A bit later on in the race, following Chris Keir here. And then I just lose all drive. So this is an electrical issue that I have had in the past and I think the previous owner had as well.
I was flying as well. Yeah, I know. He was at P10 after the first lap. 5 places he got on the first lap.
Hand up just to let people know I'm struggling. So coming into the pits, very frustrated, very annoyed, turn the car off, roll him. And that's my race 2 over. So race 3 was at 5:45 at night. For some reason we were the last on and we don't have headlights. Yes, we got the flashing lights on the rear, but you can see how bright the dash light is there compared to previous. And although we get a cracking start, nearly go early, but get a really good start, we're all in tinted visors, so whilst the visibility looks okay here, trust me, we couldn't see a lot. But anyway, got the guys behind me there, and I'm following Mark Betts here, so this is Mark that I need to beat to try and get P3 in the championship. So holding on to the back of him here. Got Sam Satchwell behind me.
Fortunately track limits aren't policed there.
So following Mark and Ryan up the hill. Sam having a little look, but nothing will come from that. And Mark makes a small mistake, and I was so close to him that I had to do a evasive manoeuvre to avoid him. But we're holding on to him here, we're in the slipstream, we're very close. Try and go outside, nothing really happens, so we're back in the slipstream. Following through the chicane, he makes a small mistake, understeers off onto the curb / grass, so we make the move. Fast forwarding a little bit. Listen to those engines.
So going into turn 1 on lap 2, following Ryan Thomas, who's actually my team rival.
who I've never actually beaten on track. You might remember him from the spin in the wet earlier, but that's David Williams that we're going down the inside of. Quite a late move, and Dan Gore going slow because he was mounted and he lost his rear wing. So we've managed to get up from P14 to P9 by the second lap. We're following Ryan here. I think we got more pace. We definitely got more pace. And then we're bogging, so we had our electrical issue. Chaz goes flying by, the rest of them go flying by. I'm trying to stay out of the way. Couldn't be more disappointed. Absolutely gutted to end with 3 DNFs this weekend.
I don't think so. We tried doing everything in the loom we could.
Overall, it was quite a brutal and disappointing end to the season. 3 DNFs is not ideal. A lot of damage to the car. I now need to rebuild the engine, including buying a new case for it and any other damage that might have been caused. We also aren't entirely sure what the electrical issue is causing the bogging down during the race, so therefore we're going to change the entire loom, which is a couple of grand. Very expensive weekend, but we have the whole of the off season to strip the car down, rebuild it, and come back fighting for the championship next year. But I feel my performance was there. I showed decent race pace and more confidence going into battles and overtaking. I still got 3 race starts, which is the best bit. Some really good laps and some really good footage of all the carnage that happened. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to follow the journey. I will be posting some highlights, some top 10s of overtakes, spins, and all the situations that happen throughout this season. I will also be showing the off-season prep that goes into rebuilding the car and what changes we're going to make for the new season. I'll also be talking about my plans for the new year and what learnings we're taking from 2024. Thanks for following along at Chapman's Corner.